Preparedness for large-scale disasters requires organizations at many levels, local, regional, national, and sometimes international, to coordinate actions. With the potential for multiple organizations to be involved in an exercise, it is important to establish agreement on the scope, levels of involvement from each participating organization, and the types of activities that will be included. An extent of play agreement, or extent of play, promotes coordination by outlining the agreement for jurisdictions or organizations to participate in an exercise. This video will cover the extent of play agreement, including elements of an extent of play, participant information, and participation level. Elements of an extent of play. The extent of play is a written agreement outlining the participating jurisdiction or organization's level of play during an exercise. It is typically developed early in the planning process after the initial planning meeting and completed by the midterm planning meeting. An extent of play should include the following: purpose, an executive summary, exercise objectives and aligned capabilities, references to plans, policies, and procedures that will be used, exercise parameters, including an overview of the scenario and intended outcomes, and participants, including their intended role and level of participation. While all of these components are important to the extent of play, there are two elements which are critical: participant information and participation level. Let's discuss these further. Participant information. It is important to understand who participants are in order to properly plan for an exercise. When filling out an extent of play, consider the following: identify an organization's planning point of contact who is responsible for communicating how an organization intends to support and resource the exercise, and for communicating any changes. Include the organization's name and the estimated number of players participating. Be sure to note if the organization's play will include specialized teams, personnel, or separate venues with different levels and dates of participation. Specify what kind of participants are playing in the exercise. There are several types of participants captured in the extent of play. Players have an active role and perform their regular roles and responsibilities during the exercise. Control staff, which includes simulators that role-play the activities of entities within the organization that are not participating as players during a given time. They understand the roles and responsibilities of the positions they will simulate in order to keep outcomes consistent. And evaluators observe player actions and activities and compare them against established plans, policies, and procedures. Participation level. Once we have identified who the participants are, it is important to determine their participation level. This informs whether the participants will be players in the exercise or if their actions and decisions will need to be simulated. Participation levels include full play, meaning all pertinent levels in an organization are participating; partial play, meaning only some personnel or entities within the organization are playing or the organization's time may be limited; and not participating, meaning the organization is not playing, so someone will need to simulate activities on its behalf. Participation level of a jurisdiction or organization provides information such as dates and times of participation, number of personnel involved, and positions of personnel. Limitations to participation level may include scheduling conflicts or other competing requirements. Simulation can alleviate these limitations. Over the course of the planning timeline, an agency's extent of play may change, especially for exercises involving multiple jurisdictions or organizations. In a multi-day exercise, the level to which an entity plays may vary. So as the master scenario events list is developed, it's important to understand when that entity is playing and when it is being simulated. Now that you understand the importance and purpose of using an extent of play, you are ready to create one of your own. Good luck!